Joining me now, ABC News' Faith Abube, who's live there in Charlottesville, right there on the University of Virginia campus. So, Faith, what more are we learning now about this suspect? Anything about him, how they found him, all the details?
Yeah, good afternoon to you, Kira. You know, that sigh of relief that the police chief was talking about, it is reverberating all across the campus here amid a really difficult day for UVA and the Charlottesville community. You know, the shooting suspect is now in custody 12 hours after that horrific shooting last night. It's still an active scene behind me. Authorities are still here gathering evidence. Authorities tell us that they received word of that shooting just after 10 o'clock last night. When they arrived, they found multiple victims with gunshot wounds on a bus full of students. The bus had just returned from Washington, D.C. There was a field trip for a class. They went to D.C. to see a play, and this was part of the university class. It's unclear at this point whether the suspect was enrolled in that class and was on the bus on the field trip, or if he wasn't, how he got on the bus in the first place. But 3 of the victims that he allegedly shot did die. 2 others are still in the hospital. They were injured. One of them is being treated. He's in critical. That person is in critical condition. At this point, the school has not identified the 2 other injured victims, but we do know that they have identified the suspect, Christopher Jones. As you said, he is a student here at UVA. He turns 23 years old this week, and he is a member, or he once was a member of the UVA football team. But according to the athletics department website, he never actually played in a game. This afternoon, we're hearing that he is facing several felony charges, including second-degree murder, using a handgun in commission of a felony, and we're also expecting investigators, as they get more information, they will be adding more charges to this. But as for what we are learning about him, well, police are still figuring out the motive behind the shooting. We're still learning some new details about him. Apparently, this is not the first time he's encountered authorities. According to police, he came to the attention of the UVA threat assessment team just this fall. He allegedly made a comment about having a gun to a person who was not affiliated with the university, but he didn't actually make any threats, according to police, and his roommate never actually saw him with a gun. And so we're not sure what happened to that case, but there was another alleged hazing incident. The circumstances of that still unclear at this point, but we are told the threat assessment team did disclose the investigation because they had to close the investigation, rather, because they really couldn't get a lot of cooperation from the suspect in this case. The threat assessment team also learned that there was a prior criminal incident involving a concealed weapon violation involving the suspect. This apparently happened outside of Charlottesville last year. School policy does require the suspect to report an incident like that, but according to police, he did not report this. And of course, all of these details are going to be part of the larger investigation into what happened, why it happened, and whether this could have been prevented. Kira?
Yeah, Faith, there is just so much to take in right now, and it was pretty remarkable right there in the middle of that news conference that they got word the suspect was in custody. All right, Faith, as you work your sources and more details, please let us know when you have more. We will come back to you. Meanwhile, we're going to bring in ABC News contributor and former FBI agent Brad Garrett. So, Brad, multiple law enforcement agencies, the ATF, Virginia State Police, so many involved in this investigation. So, considering the suspect was at large for more than 12 hours, I guess, first of all, what did you make of the police response? No one likes to see an alleged shooter on the loose, but 12 hours, that's pretty good. They must have gotten good intel on how to track him down.
So look at it this way, Kira. Every time there is a public shooting, in particular on a college campus, a public school, even a business, the federal, city, county, and state teams get together. So the FBI and ATF typically show up to offer assistance, a lot, a little, whatever the local jurisdiction actually needs, but they're used to working together. So start with that. The ability then to get the word out of Mr. Jones's identity of his car, and the tag number. That would go to all of the surrounding jurisdictions of Charlottesville. I'm going to guess Henrico County is not very far away. Did the police, it was on their radar via the word that was put out. They did, I'm going to guess, a car stop or some version of that, and took him into custody. But it does show you that the system and these various jurisdictions can work together because, sadly, we have so many shootings.
So let's talk about the fact that he was already on law enforcement's radar, and apparently it was tied into possibly an hazing incident among the football team. There were reports that he did have a weapon. What do you make? I mean, clearly, when we were hearing about his background, the fact he was on the football team, possibly the honor roll, you're sort of shocked. It doesn't fit the typical profile, right? Then we start hearing about the fact that law enforcement did know about him, that there was something involved with hazing and the football team. It's all sort of piecing together now.
So we tend to make a mistake in sort of being stereotypic about who will commit mass shootings. And yes, you are correct. Many times we see maybe mental health, but certainly a troubled person outwardly. I'm going to guess that Mr. Jones has obviously his own set of issues here. Anger, rage, maybe uncontrollable rage. Maybe it's directed toward football, maybe not. I don't think it's a coincidence that the people he harmed were connected to the football team that he apparently either got kicked off of or was just not on it at the time of the shooting. And so, you have to start with that. If you look at what little we know, a person, Mr. Jones, some sort of violation in reference to a concealed weapon, maybe another comment by somebody that he said he had a gun, but the person never saw the gun. And then this hazing incident, as we both know, could mean all sorts of things, a big deal, not a big deal. But if you put them all together, I mean, what does law enforcement do with that? I mean, the number of people that are stopped with having guns that either aren't registered or they're in a jurisdiction where if you are carrying it concealed, it's illegal. Will that be noted? It was noted, I suppose, in a criminal record, but that's about all police can do with that. It's not a direct threat. It's much like when we start hearing about people online saying they're going to go do X. That's when law enforcement can do something about it. It's not a perfect system. We miss some of these shooters because of that. But, we'll have to know more about were there indicators, real aggression, anger, rage indicators between Mr. Jones and the people that were shot, or maybe even the football team in general.
Yeah, it's still a lot we don't know. So just kind of looking ahead now, what are your biggest safety concerns as University of Virginia students start to head back to class? Clearly, it's rocking the campus right now.
Well, there is no doubt. I mean, it sort of shakes your, feeling of comfort. I mean, you go to college, you're typically young, but the college campus itself is kind of like a cocoon. You feel comfortable there, you feel safe there. And this, even though this would strike me as perhaps a targeted shooting, it still will make you feel not safe, at least for a period of time. In other words, somebody came on campus with a gun, a fellow student, and killed their other students, these football players. And so there's going to be trauma there for, I suspect, for some, an extended period of time they're really going to have to work through. And, the college itself sounds like, they are really offering help and will work with these kids to sort of get them through to the other side of, hey, this is really a safe place to be, and we're here to protect you the best we can.
And I'm told we saw it just for a second there, Brad. We just got photos of the three victims: Lavelle Davis Jr., Devin Chandler, and Deshaun Perry. So those are the names of the three victims. We just got these pictures in, left to right. Lavelle Davis Jr., and then Devin Chandler and Deshaun Perry. We will continue to bring in, obviously, more information, learn more about these victims, hopefully more about the alleged shooter, Brad, as we continue our coverage. Brad, thank you so much. Thanks for rolling with me there.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.